morning, everybody. Nikki Burnett here, Taste Life Nutrition Radio and Podcast, streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. Today we have Jodi Scott. I've been so excited about this conversation because she has some of the coolest products. Her company, she's a founder of Green Goo by Spry Life. I hope that I have it all in the right order. But this is going to be such a cool conversation because we're inundated in this world of chemicals and toxins, and what we see is natural. And so let's talk about what actually is natural and what's not natural, and what is truly going to make us healthy, and the amazing benefits of plants. It's so good. So, Jodi, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here with you.
Yeah. So, of course, as always, we start the show with gratitude. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for plants.
Yeah. I mean, God's kind of cool that way, right?
Right.
Cool. Awesome. I am also grateful for plants. I'm grateful. You have Jodi sent me a really cool little basket of goodies that I have been loving, especially the vitamin C rose. Oh my goodness.
Your skin's glowing.
Oh man, I want to bathe in that stuff. I think you need to have like 16-ounce jars. It might be really expensive, but so cool. And so I'm grateful for that and really appreciative of the goodies. Super fun. I'm gonna be repetitive because last week, and I think maybe actually for the last 2 weeks, I've been grateful for being able to take time to go on vacation. So we're gonna head out to Mexico for 11 days. So a couple of those days are travel days, but we're still gonna be able to spend some time in the sun and in the sand and do some diving, and not have to think about anything. Now I say that we'll probably end up doing a little bit of work. I actually signed up for this AI course, and it's every Tuesday for the next 4 weeks. And I was like, it's okay, I can do a little course in the sun, it's not a big deal. But anyway, I'm grateful to be able to take the time to get away. Grateful to be able to spend the time with my sweet husband. He's got some good stuff going. He's gonna have to work too. So, the beautiful thing about the way that we work today is we pretty much can work from anywhere. And I'm really grateful for that. I know that there are times when we need to not work when we're vacationing, but sometimes it's just nice to be able to continue and get that stuff done. So anyway, I'll stop rambling and let's just jump in. So you have kind of an interesting history. I love for people to kind of give their story about how you came to this place. So everybody who comes on the show is really here to serve. And to give and to love, and everybody's been an entrepreneur. It's been 6 years. Every show has been an entrepreneur, so that's super fun. And I just want I want everybody to know a little bit about how you got to this place, and and then we'll dive into all the fun stuff that you offer.
Amazing. Well, first of all, that sounds like a lovely vacation, so yes. I'm glad you're going to have some fun.
Me too.
And I love the insert of the AI around.
Right. I mean,
the best of two different worlds.
No kidding.
Yes. So it's been a wild ride. So I got my master's in health psychology, specialized in psychoneuroimmunology, was pre-med, and training resident physicians on the biopsychosocial model. So
explain that. I think it's so cool, but explain what that means.
And there was no P&L or cash flow statements in any of that, right? So Business 101, that came later.
Right.
So my passion was really to improve healthcare. Rather than simply prescribing, I was training physicians to really look at the patient as a whole. Go behind the curtain and find out what other potential obstacles there could be that may be preventing this prescription or this, decision on what needs to be done for their healthcare, and so that they can advance it further. And psychoneuroimmunology at the time didn't have a lot of, it was an emerging space, didn't have a lot of data like we do today, but it's very much the intersection of your immune system, nervous system, and psychology and how it's all interrelated. And it's been really fun. Fast forward and we can talk about it. Today is just the relationship the skin has in that relationship between those systems. And then my sister's an herbalist and a midwife. And sort of the aha moment for us with Green Goo was I was pregnant and I got a cut and I went to my first aid cabinet and I just decided to look at the ingredients because I hadn't looked at it in a really long time.
Yeah.
Surprise! And here I've been living a very clean life. I was eating clean ingredients, I was looking at labels, and I saw that I was not going to put this on my body while I was pregnant. Matter of fact, I didn't want to put this on my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, had this reflection, why am I living this clean life and yet I'm making this exception because I think this is the only thing that will get the job done from a first aid standpoint. So I started sharing this with my sister, who was at the time studying and creating topical medicinal salves. And we recognized we weren't alone. The natural consumer was willing to abandon their natural ethos because they were told these one-time chemical use solutions were the only solutions for your first aid and wound care. And then it was really interesting because we discovered chronic skin conditions are at an all-time high, and the conventional consumer was less concerned about the ingredients, but really more disappointed with the efficacy. Use 7 to 10 days. If symptoms persist, which they often did, you needed to go see your physician. So we thought, what if we can make a plant-based solution that is first superior in efficacy and, oh, by the way, also natural ingredients and sustainability. So Green Goo was born.
That's amazing. And I apologize, I had an issue, so I was listening to you, but I was like multitasking, which I'm not great at, but but I did.
I got you. We're all doing it.
Cool. Okay, so what was your first product?
We had 3.
Okay.
And the one that people most know us for, that was sort of the part of the origin story, is our Green Goo First Aid. And this was first designed to be a topical antiseptic. And then in the spirit and the mantra of like, we want to clean out your first aid cabinet. We don't want all this one-time use, stuff that you use for one symptom and then you throw it away before you need it again. And what we saw is that people were looking to also take the sting and the itch out, slow down the bleeding, and speed up the healing. So it is your first aid kit. It is your Swiss Army knife in one little kit, one little tin. And so it is great for cuts and scrapes, but bug bites, bee stings, poison ivy, cold sore, chafing, ingrown toenails, chapped lips, blisters. You take it with you everywhere you go, and you've got your all-in-one solution.
So I have I have your website pulled up because I wanted to be able to reference them. So the first aid salve. So the one that you sent me was the skin repair, right? Yeah.
That's my favorite. So that is, I'll call that your health and beauty Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
So it was originally designed to be a burn and scar after sun care, like Moderna alternative solution.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is that it is a wonderful head to toe lotion alternative, beautiful skin moisturizer, builds that skin barrier, and anti-aging night cream. So I call it my sanctuary Sunday, and on Sundays I will just salve up with my skin repair head to toe, put on my bathrobe, let my skin just drink up all those nutrients.
I love that.
Maybe sit and visit outside, have a call, 30 minutes, and then go get ready for the day. And I live in a really dry area. I'm Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't have lotion anymore. And you know when you put lotion on and like within 20 minutes you're dry already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do this twice a week and your skin barrier is so strong and so vibrant, and then put it on every night after that vitamin C serum that you recommended and that you referred to. Like literally I put the vitamin C serum on and then I put the repair over it to just like wrap in all those nutrients and hydration, and it's like amazing.
So these are the tips and tricks that I need to learn more about. And so I have this, and I have it sitting on my bathroom counter. I've used it under my eyes. I've used it under, man, age is kicking my ass. The little wrinkles or the big wrinkles, I'm like, okay, whatever it takes. But I love this. It feels so good. I'll tell you too, and I feel like I'm jumping around and I apologize, but the pain relief salve, that one in the skin repair, I purchased for stocking stuffers for Christmas this year. And so, and everybody just loves it. Of course, I got the pain relief for the men, and I got the skin repair for the women, but, both are good for both, and, they're all couples, so that was sort of the intent. But I love that skin repair. And so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit. So we've got blue chamomile, blue yarrow, rosehip seed oil, so good. Aloe vera.
So good.
I use aloe vera for everything. I put it in my hair. I put it in everything.
So hydrating. It's so good.
Yeah. Helichrysum, vitamin E are the basic ingredients. That's what you have here. Is that it, or is there? I mean, that's basically
That
it.
is it.
Yeah.
And it is
So
all of those are so rich in antioxidants, rich in skin repair, hydration, and then they're all lipid oils, so they're friendly for your semi-permeable membrane. So you're really penetrating the epidermal layer and nourishing it. And when you start to study the skin more, you find that your skin was born from the same tissue as your nervous system in your embryonic tissue. And so it's rich in neurotransmitters. So when you're nourishing your skin this way, you'll feel like, I like how you said, you just feel good. You'll actually feel like there's evidence to support that your cortisol drops, your inflammation drops, and then of course with all of that, your mindset feels good. So there's something to be said about nutritional skincare. I mean, we're here to reinvent first aid, but I really want to bring like wisdom and light to nourishing your skin. And I love that you gave the pain relief for the holidays, because that's another one for Sanctuary Sunday. Is like, it's great for after workouts or injuries, but it's also great to just butter up with the pain relief, moisturize your skin, and manage your inflammation, because managing your inflammation is part of your wellness longevity journey.
Yes, for sure. And so that one, we've got arnica. I mean, duh, that's great. Ginger, peppermint, massage ready. Oh, athlete approved travel. Sorry, okay. I was like, what does that mean? Okay, got it. So all of those things that are gonna take away inflammation, take away pain. That's so good.
And
yes.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So I think what's really important to note is most people are just used to using natural products with synthetic forms of the plant or isolates of the plant. So a lot of the medicinal properties from these plants, the botanical profile, has been compromised. It's been exposed to high heat or chemicals, and you're just getting a fraction of the plant. Or it's being added with a petroleum base or a paraben base, and so it's just sitting on the surface of your skin.
Yeah.
We still make the ingredients ourselves. So the whole plants go to our manufacturing facility the same way we were making it in our kitchen when we first started. We yield high amounts of the medicinal properties from those plants, protecting the integrity of the plant. And then those custom oils go into these formulas, each of these unique to Green Goo. And that's why you get that richness of those plant properties, and you get the results that you do.
How long have you been in business?
Almost 15 years.
Oh, amazing.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We started this in our kitchen around 2009, 2010. So yeah, 15 years. And it was for many years farmers market before we registered with the FDA, and then went into retail. So it's been a wild ride. We've sold over 1 million jar units, individuals, and we have thousands of 5-star reviews. I mean, thousands.
Yeah.
And it's been so fun to just have such a positive impact on people's lives. I had a customer the other day, and her daughter had eczema, and they had done everything. She's like, over-the-counter prescription steroids for a year, and that's where that dry skin formula comes in. And she's like, I'm coming to you with a lot of doubt. Like, my daughter is miserable. We're not sleeping, and if you have eczema out there, like, you don't sleep. It gets quiet. Everything itches. Clothing, fabric is horrible. And so she's like, I don't use natural products, but so I have very little confidence in this, but I don't know what else to do. And I heard that you guys may have a solution. And in 2 weeks, she did before and after pictures. And at that 2-week point, so typically we'll look at the eczema and we'll make a recommendation based on where you are in that stage. And the skin repair is now, when you're at the place where the inflammation is down, you'll use the skin repair for scarring and just rebuilding that skin barrier, that's the tissue. She's like, we're at their skin repair stage. She's like, I cannot believe 2 weeks and we've been suffering with this for a year. She's like, my daughter's smiling for the first time in a very long time, and we're sleeping. And I was like, yes.
That's so awesome. I have so many different places I want to go right now. I'm having a really hard time because I want to
hop around.
Yeah, yes.
Go for it.
Because I love talking about the products. I want to talk about the rose facial serum. But I want to make sure that we get back to the this is where I want to nerd out, is the embryology, where you're talking about the skin and the nervous system. And then there was something else, and I can't remember what it was right now. But anyway, since we're on the products, I do want to hit on the rose facial serum because it's so beautiful.
And it's only 5 ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what they are.
Yeah. And how these ingredients, how they're sourced, how they're processed, and how they work together is what is so important in these. So this rose blend that is so rich in vitamin C, and it helps with elasticity, collagen rebuilding, and really penetrates the skin layers to rebuild and give you that glow. And to your point, it is a night and day difference, and it's very visible, and then it feels good and it looks good. And again, putting that repair on afterwards to seal it in is just like the perfect combo.
Yeah, awesome. I have a couple of yes, but I have a couple of questions about that. And so something that I heard, and I hope it's okay to ask these because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you, but I feel like I have in my mind what the answers would be. But there's something that I know about vitamin C, and this is only, internal, right? Vitamin C has the fastest or the shortest half-life of any other nutrient. Something that I heard many years ago is that vitamin C is difficult to penetrate the skin. I'm going to tell you what I think my assumption is, and then I want you to give me your insight on this, because my assumption is often when you have vitamin C, it's going to be your ascorbic acid. It's going to be something that's not fake, or that's more I don't know if it's synthetic or if it's grown. This is actually in the rose seed oil, right, is the form of vitamin C, right? So you can expand on that, but I was so curious about that. I think that, you always want to make sure that it stays, and I know that it does. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, and you're spot on. So many of these vitamin C serums that are out on the market are really playing off of the term vitamin C because it's trending, and the reality is you're getting some fragment of it and it's sitting on the surface of the skin, and it's not really in the form at which it's going to serve you in the skin. Yeah. And these roses are so rich in that vitamin C antioxidant and then having that carrier oil that is friendly to that semi-permeable membrane allows these vitamins to really penetrate the skin in the various epidermal layers and do the work that it can do from its regenerative properties. And a lot of what we do in our entire portfolio is really to nourish the skin in a way that stimulates the skin to do what it already knows to do. And oftentimes, and this kind of full circles, with the nervous system, full circle in terms of the opposite is what is happening with a lot of the ingredients that we're having and exposed to on the market. The parabens, the petroleums, the phthalates, these endocrine disruptors that are, phthalates are the #1 produced man-made chemical in the world, and we produce 1 billion pounds of it a year in the US. It's unbelievable. And then we're compounding those endocrine disruptors on our skin, making it have to work harder. So we're swimming upstream. Our nervous system is not just our skin is not just the largest organ. It is our first line of defense. It is the thing that communicates to the rest of the body what we need or not need to do. And so by adding all of these chemicals and these other synthetics that we're putting on the skin, it's upstream. So when you can get rid of those and then add nutritional skincare into the mix, then you're swimming with the current. Now you're complementing what the body already knows how to do, enhancing it. And so that's why you see that skin regeneration. That's why you see that vitality, because I think there's something that we know intuitively that when skin glows, it's connected to your wellness. And they have found, so your telomeres are the end caps of your DNA, right? And they measure your longevity. And there is the enzyme that regenerates your telomeres in your epidermal layer. Well, more recently, they just found a study that calendula flower can actually stimulate that enzyme, and that regenerates the telomere. So we're finding more data of ways that we can stimulate and enhance the system that we have in order to, work with our wellness journey. And so it's really fun to be at this cusp of this plant renaissance, because when we first started and we said, hey, I've got a plant-based first aid to a national pharmacy buyer, he about fell out of his seat. He's like, those two words cannot go together. They do not work together.
Yeah.
And now we know what plant-based is. Now we can differentiate between what is really greenwashing and what can actually be nutritional and give us that high performance that we're looking for.
I love that. And so, when I'm talking with people, or if I'm speaking or whatever, I have several main themes, but one of them is, we've got to stop fighting our body, right? And we do it in so many ways without really knowing that that's what we're doing. So often the way that I see it is I'm working with somebody who's super chronic, and there's this constant battle of why is my body fighting me, and, why does it hate me, and, why do I hurt, and all of these things. But we're also in a battle when we're putting on these Neutrogenas and these trash products that are full of, like you said, the endocrine disruptors and the toxins and the phthalates and these things that are going to mess with your liver, and they're going to age you, and they're going to shrink your telomeres, and all of these things, right? And so it is this turning it around and sort of flipping it, where we're like, okay, I need to understand what it is that my body needs, because the ultimate goal of the body is to keep us alive, right? That's what it's going to do. So how can we come together in alignment with our body and support it and give it what it needs? Because when it gets what it needs, externally, internally, environmentally, mentally, and emotionally, right? It's like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do now.
Yeah, there you are.
There you are. And so to talk about the calendula. So I want to know if I'm doing this correctly, because I have fallen in love also with the calendula. So you sent me that.
Such a great plant.
I've been using that to take my makeup off. What do you think about that?
So we have an oil face wash that is infused with calendula flowers, rosemary, lavender, and it is exactly that. So it will clean what needs to be removed, so that makeup, but then it also protects the integrity of the skin barrier. And so then, when you use an oil face wash, it's kind of strange at first. You're like, oh, it's not all coming off. You don't need to. You just pat dry it with a towel. But once you get used to that and your skin starts to balance out, oh my gosh, I've been to hotels where I've forgotten my face wash and I have to use soap, and I feel like I have a mask on my face. And then all of a sudden my skin is trying to overproduce oil. It's hangry. It is not happy. And so you'll start to feel the difference when you're really protecting that skin layer and giving it what it needs. So yes, the calendula has antifungal, anti-yeast, antimicrobial properties. It has tissue repair properties, and then it's also incredibly hydrating.
Amazing.
And it's an astringent.
So I want to dig in a little more to what you just said about using soap, right? So we're in this society where obviously showering is important, right? But my husband showers 3 times a day sometimes. I'm like, okay, I don't. I refuse to. It's way too much trouble. But I'm thinking of, I say recently, last year, couple of years, whatever it's been thinking about, do I actually need to use soap on my face every day? Because that's what I would do, it was a healthy soap, right? It's your Castile soap, that's, a good type of soap, but I would always wash my face. I'm like, am I stripping it? Am I taking away what my skin actually needs? And so I think I'm curious if you have more to say about that, because I feel like you're starting to hear more and more about people using the oils to clean, as opposed to soap, which has its place certainly, but is it necessary all the time? I mean,
it's such an interesting concept too, because you think about, we see this in first aid, we see this in health and beauty, if it doesn't sting or burn or dry something out, it's not working.
Yeah.
And we just have this idea that is what we're supposed to be doing, and then what happens is we're breaking down that microbiome the skin barrier. We're stripping the skin. You know, I give the analogy of like a balloon, like when you blow up a balloon and then you take some air out and then you blow up the balloon and you take the air out, eventually that balloon starts to look really rough. Like that's what we're doing to ourselves, you know. But when we can keep it nice and healthy and elastic and hydrated, it's a really happy balloon. And so I, like to your point, I use oil now. I don't use soap. And you know, we use oil to clean up messes. Like oil can do a great job of pulling things out while also protecting the skin layer. And so I'm a big advocate for it. When we have someone who comes to us with severe eczema, that is the first thing we recommend. We're like, stop using soap. And we have an eczema oil that has calendula flowers infused with it, chamomile, and a number of other flowers that help calm the nervous system, but then bring that oil to help regenerate and be a carrier, right? Because you can also use that oil with the plants to be able to bring those nutrients in through your skin in a way that it likes. And then we start working through the regimen, because we are all of those chemicals, because a lot of the soaps that we're using do have phthalates or parabens in them, and forever chemicals, and sometimes it's in the packaging too. You know, maybe the ingredients are okay, and there's alcohol and drying, and so I think it's a major shift. But when you start doing it, it's like, oh wow, like I feel better. This feels good.
It does feel good. It feels really good. Yeah. Actually, funny, last night I went in to wash my face, and it was sort of this habit of turning on the sink, and I went, what am I doing? Right? I think, no, I grabbed my oil and I cleaned my face. You know? But it is a habit that you break, that you want to break because it feels good, and it's just it's awesome.
And then you see the difference. You feel the difference.
Yeah, without a doubt. Are there any? Well, since we're talking about products, is there anything else you wanna hit on with your products, or should we move on? I'm gonna make sure you talk about all you want.
You know, I think we touched on the if you're looking for a health and beauty regimen, use the oil face wash, follow up with the vitamin C serum, seal it in with the skin repair. If you're looking to clean out your first aid cabinet, really focus on that first aid bundle where you'll have the dry skin formula, the pain relief, the first aid, and the skin repair. And that in itself is going to cover more than 20 different use cases that you would typically have in your first aid cabinet. And it just feels so good to just be done with it. Like move away from it. And then I will highlight, to your point, deodorant, only because we're talking about the skin absorption. It's kind of fun. So your armpit, we're always looking at transdermal absorption, and your armpit is this like really interesting tissue, right? Like we know it looks different. And while it absorbs about 70% of what you put in there, and it's next to your lymphatic tissue, so all the more reason that we know now today to avoid certain ingredients. And I think really the armpit brought to light these ingredients that we needed to avoid, because we were seeing the connection with various cancers and so forth. I'd also like to add, so my sister and I were looking at this and we're like, well, it's great to avoid things, but why not make it like more nutritional? So we started adding things like ginkgo biloba, echinacea, ashwagandha, holy basil, functional mushrooms, vitamin C to the deodorant formulas, because we're like, if it's absorbing 70%, let's just give ourselves some more nutrition.
I love that so much, and I miss that.
It's fun. It's under personal care.
Okay, so my husband, it's really fun. You know how you just have to drip on people, right? You can't push them to do
I like that, drip on people. I'm going to use that. It's got like a nice water vibe to it.
But he is finally at this point, because he was always like, no, I gotta have the antiperspirant because the sweat and the stuff. And I get, some people just sometimes feel that need, but I also, and I want to put it out there, now that he's using the better stuff, he doesn't have all of those needs. Now he might be also why he showers 3 times a day, I don't know. but you get to a point to where you need those things less as your body adjusts. And I think that's it's important to keep that in mind. If you're not putting the aluminum on every day, your body's going to adjust to not having the aluminum, which is a good thing. But
so true and so interesting. And then when you give it something that it loves, it like changes all of a sudden. Like it's not sweating as much, it's not smelling as much.
Yeah.
You know, it's very different. And when you do have a change, it also can be a really good indication. Sometimes there's hormonal changes, there's stress.
Yes.
You need to detox, you weren't eating well, and it can be a really good informative portal.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I
Right.
love that. But I'm going to start him on this because I miss these. And so you have immunity and defense herbal deodorant and relax and adapt herbal deodorant. That's perfection. I mean, how smart is that? I just think it's amazing.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
And we have a clarity one that like brings like,
Okay.
you know, that's where the ginkgo biloba and the sage are in there to just kind of like give you some clarity. Yeah.
So good.
And that kind of ties into the nervous system.
Yes, it
And the
does.
skin.
Perfection.
Because the reality is, and I love this, like there's more data coming out. Like the Journal of Behavioral Medicine is partnering with the Journal of Dermatology, and they're showing that like small moments of mindfulness and meditation are lowering cortisol, reducing inflammation, and if you are manifesting a like eczema, for example, they're showing that that flare-up can go down. And so we're starting to get more data just in terms of the skin that is not just this one little barrier, and how much more interactive it is to our overall well-being and the science to support. Like, and you think about it, like things as simple as like scrolling on your phone for too long impacts your skin, impacts your nervous system, impacts your cortisol, and then impacts your mindset. And so when you can start thinking of your skin in a way that you want to nourish it for your overall homeostasis, it's really fun.
That's amazing. And I love that you put it that way. What we have to get, we've got to get away from, you know, the conventional medicine concept. And I'm not saying getting away from conventional medicine. It's got its place, right? But it's this, everything is in a vacuum. Everything is independent. Nothing, you know, we don't go outside of, you know, cardiology, won't go out into neurology, which is way connected. I mean, by the vagus nerve. But, you know, the skin is wrapped around all of that. And then you've got the connective tissue underneath that, and the fascia, which is so biologically active. We're like, no, it's just a sheet of stuff, right? There's a book. Have you ever heard of the book called, I was looking it up, Spark in the Machine?
No, but I'm interested.
Okay. So I think you're going to love it. It's really, it brings, so I'm not an acupuncturist, and I love acupuncture, but it's not my world, right? Chinese medicine is not traditional Chinese medicine is not my world. I think it's amazing. But this is all about traditional Chinese medicine and how it connects into our conventional world today, and how it was so fascinating talking about the embryology, a lot of embryology in it, and how you know, and I don't remember all of the details, but I really actually want to study this, but how certain things are connected by the way that they are how they're developed.
Developmental.
Yes, thank you. Like, where are my words for this? I think you'll really love it. I just finished it. It was suggested to me by an acupuncturist, and it was fascinating. It's such a cool book. So anybody out there, it's not just, you know, traditional Chinese medicine. It's how it's all connected, and how we can see it, and then how traditional Chinese medicine understands medicine and how the body works. So it goes so much deeper than what we do in our own conventional medical world. It's fascinating. Really, really cool
I
stuff.
love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to add,
Mm-hmm.
you know, reinventing first aid is not, is really just bringing the information that we know today. Like, no one meant to hurt anyone in the Industrial Revolution when these man-made chemicals came out. We didn't have the infrastructure we have today. We didn't have the technology, the transportation, the knowledge, exactly. And there was this notion of like more value means more volume. So let's like shove it with water, and now, you know, it might be 3 or 4 years before it gets to someone's door, and we got to add all of these other preservatives. It's just, now we know this information, and now we can change what we're doing. And I really like how you talked about bringing these medicines together. It's not an either or, it's a yes and.
Yeah.
Because a doctor loves to work on a healthy patient. So if we know that these ingredients are harmful, which we know now, the data is there, and we know that there's better ways for us to enhance our longevity and have higher performing bodies, well then let's do it. Because when we are faced with a medical condition, or our DNA makes us more predisposed to something that we're going to have to deal with, the doctor's like, yes, I'm working on a body that is like in best form so that you can recover better. So it's just being a part of, being a part of like that system with your body so that you can recover better.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you're, sort of jumping into, my favorite thing in the world, which is genetics and epigenetics and nutrigenomics. And, what you're doing, you've got, nutritional skincare, which literally is going to impact your epigenome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so this is the stuff, and I say this all the time, but it's the stuff that we're surrounded by, so we can't necessarily control the toxins in the environment outside, but we can control what we're putting in our home environment. We can control what we're putting on our skin. We can control what we're putting in our body. And those are the things that are going to impact us, our health, everything that we are, and those tendencies or those genetic potentials that are there. If we are making the right choices in what we're doing with our body, our telomeres are going to be longer. This is that longevity piece of it. I'm never really a fan of longevity, just because I'm like, well, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow, but I want to live as well as I can for as long as I'm here. And so it's the quality. But yes, if I'm making choices to eat McDonald's every day, I'm making a choice to shorten my telomeres and to create disease and all of these other things, versus I can make these decisions to lengthen my life and create better quality. And everybody knows this who listens regularly, it's literally changing the trajectory of generations ahead of us. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's so powerful. It's amazing. I say this all the time too, but it's God's gift of free will. It's my choice to make these decisions. It's up to me. It's not up to anybody else, but I can make the decisions to create health for me and for the future.
Oh, I love that. Here's a fun hack for everyone, because I have a 14-year-old daughter, and you're inundated with all of these choices, like you said, and I think oftentimes it can be incredibly overwhelming when you're like, where do I even start?
Yeah.
Like, how do I make the shifts in my life? And you feel like if you can't do it all, then somehow you just get that paralysis. And so we have an acronym that we use, and it's called SHAMAN. And it just allows us to make small little changes throughout the day, or stack habits and make good choices that just kind of steer us in the right direction. So S is for sleep, adding to the sleep bank. And that's great for my daughter, especially making that emotional connection when she's starting to feel off. I'm like, how's the sleep bank looking? Because you can only deplete that for so much. You need to add to it.
Yeah.
H is hydration. We are water. So whether it is the water that we drink, or what the beverages that we choose not to drink, it is the food that we eat. There's lots of hydration in healthy foods, fruits, vegetables, fibers. It's also the skincare. Are we putting skincare on our body that's pulling out the water, or are we putting stuff in there that's like bringing it in and nourishing it? A is antioxidants, because I think sometimes nutrition can just be overwhelming. If you can just invite more antioxidants into your world, that is enough. So like, you open up the fridge and you're like, am I going to eat the chips or the carrots? And maybe it's both, but you at least brought in, when you're ordering. My daughter, like, when she's thinking about what she's going to order off of, Uber Eats, she's like, maybe I'm going to throw in a little bit of those healthier choices in there. Yeah. Because just a little bit goes a long way.
It does. Yeah.
M is mindfulness. And I cannot stress the value of this one enough. Back to that mind-body relationship. We know that mindfulness reduces cortisol, reduces inflammation. You do not need to meditate for 2 hours to achieve the medical benefits of mindfulness. You can take 30 seconds to 2 minutes, frequent little moments throughout the day, and it could be as simple as doing the thing that you're already doing. You just reframe it and get very intentional and very present. It could be you're sitting there to go pick up your kiddo from school, and instead of being on your phone, look at the clouds, look at them very intently, listen to the birds, take your 5 senses and just spend 30 seconds to 2 minutes really zooming in on that one particular sense. And that really rejuvenates you. And then the last A is avoid. And I think this is super powerful in this world because we are being inundated with so much stuff all the time. Ingredients, events, people, moments, all of that matters. Because when you avoid a moment, you avoid a person, you avoid that ingredient, you're just building something undercover, right? And it's this beautiful thing that you can serve yourself in. And then the last letter is N for nature, and getting out into nature so that you just have those little moments that will ground you and give you some antioxidants, serve you well, rather than, a handful of other things. Maybe you're scrolling on your phone and it's like, go outside for 10 minutes, walk the dog, give yourself a moment, get your body moving. SHAMAN.
I love that. Did you make it up?
I did. Yeah.
Good for you. I love it. I think, going back to the getting in nature, we have such really cool hacks now, and I'm thinking specifically of the grounding, because we take grounding for granted. We don't, I don't know if it's we take it for granted, we don't realize the need that we have for touching the earth, physically touching the earth. And the data that we have for those who were not touching the earth. So think about how often, not you, I know you know, but for any of you out there, think about how often you're actually physically touching the earth. I'm not talking about walking around barefoot in your house. I'm not talking about, the cement outside. I'm talking about literally touching the earth. And you live in a place like Colorado, not the last, few months because it's been so warm, which I'm sort of okay with. But
I know. I was like, ooh, I kind of love this, but I shouldn't.
I know, exactly. But in a typical winter, it's hard to get outside and go put your feet in the grass, right? Because it's just kind of cold. But the importance of it and what we can do, like I have grounding slippers now, and I have a grounding mat on my bed. And so if we think about, we're always in our bed. We spend half our lives-ish, maybe not quite that much, hopefully, but laying in a bed that is off of the ground. And then we are in buildings or, you name it. Think about your own lifestyle and what that looks like and how often you touch the ground physically. And so what we can do, because we're in this crazy world where things are so fast and so ungrounded, is we can have, there's grounding sheets and there's grounding mats, and I have a grounding mat that I will put either on the floor with my bare feet, or I'll sit on it if I have shorts on, or put my foot on it. You just got to touch it, right? When I was in the clinic, I had a grounding mat under my computer, so if my hand was sitting on it as I'm on touching the mouse. So many of these cool little hacks that we can do when if we have the awareness that this is the stuff that's going to make us healthy, that's going to lengthen our telomeres, that is these tiny little, they're small things that are not expensive things that we can do regularly, including the skincare, right? That's the stuff. It makes huge differences, but we're always looking for I want to feel it immediately, and I want to know now that I notice a difference now, and sometimes we do, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's just cumulative over time, right? As is disease, cumulative over time.
So true, so true. And I love that you're underscoring, like, moving away from that quick fix expectation and just getting present. Like what you embodied there was when you can get present, you can discern what you need, and that grounding right there helps you get present. And then what's interesting is your biology, your body responds positively to that. And so I just love that. I always tell my daughter, presence is prayer. Like if you can live in a state of presence, it's like living in a state of prayer, and your body just says thank you, and everything is just really, really in sync.
That's so good. It just makes me think, I think about how quickly time passes, especially as we age. And I think it's so often because, this is my thought, because I'm always looking at my calendar. What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing next week? I'm looking forward to a vacation, right? All of these things that are all in the future. And I think as we age, time goes faster anyway. But I think that makes it go even faster. And so I try to, and I'm not great at it because I'm still always looking at my calendar.
We all.
I know.
All guilty.
But if we can do, what we have to do in life, but then do what you said and just be in the now. Like, I'm enjoying this conversation so much that I just don't want it to end. And I have all of these thoughts about, more conversations that we can have. But it makes so much sense, and it brings us getting back to the neurology of it, right? And it's the psychoneuroimmunology piece that is so beautiful, is that it puts us in the parasympathetic, and it reduces the stress, and it brings us to this place of calmness and ease, as opposed to the sympathetic, which is the go, 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 go. And so many of us live in this go, go, go. So what are we doing? We're not digesting our food. We're not utilizing the nutrients that we're taking in. We're not utilizing the stuff that's going in through our skin, or the stuff that's going in through our skin is toxic, right? And so being present and aware is impacting our physical, mental, and emotional health. Truly.
And because in the environment we're in, we often don't ever even know what that feels like. We don't recognize it unless, like, we're on vacation, right? Mm-hmm. And you have that moment where you're like, oh, this is what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started this journey of being more present when I said, okay, I'm going to be a tourist in my own town. And I used that analogy so that I could try to just be more present in this moment and not feel like I had to have the vacation. And what it did is it just helped my sanctuary Sunday, another example, like salving up, being really intentional with that moment. It just reminded me of what it felt like to be present, so I could seek it out more consistently and then feel the metabolic change in my health as a result of it.
It's so great when you are so in tuned and in partnership with your body that you do start to you can feel, and you have such an understanding of the body and what it needs and what it's trying to tell you. That's a big piece of what I try to teach people, and I know you do too, is we've got to listen. We've got to understand what the body's telling us, right? So the eczema is a symptom. If the body's trying to tell us some things, the pain and the lack of sleep and all of these things that can happen, it's communication, and we can't just go in and squash it with the Advil or the whatever you name it, right? We've got to going back to it, partner and say, what is it that you're trying to tell me, so I can give you what you need, so we can move forward, right?
And your skin is one of the first communicators.
Yes.
Like when you don't sleep, you're like, oh, I can see it in my skin. When you're not hydrated, I can see it in my skin. And it's literally your skin giving you a couple clues to make some choices, some shifts. And what I love about presence and shaman is that it's like equitable. Like it's free. You just, back to your original statement, like it's a choice. And you just have to make the choice. And like we have that free will to do it. Yeah. And it's pretty exciting when you start embodying that.
Yeah, I love that. It made me think of a story. It's not my story. I was at a conference, and one of the doctors who was speaking, sorry, I keep getting these calls and it keeps messing up my video. This is what I get for using my phone, right? I guess I should probably put it on Do Not Disturb. But anyway, he was taking a specific product, and he was like super loading it. He's like, I'm going to see what this does. It was a type of binder. And he's like, I'm going to see what happens if I just super load this. He's a really healthy guy, right? He's a nutritionist, just amazingly smart dude. And so I think within a few days or a week or whatever it was of superdosing this type of binder, it started pulling out what I can only assume, or he's assuming, or it was a virus, right? And so he had this amazing, I don't know what you would call it, but like massive rash and skin awfulness. He was like
expelling.
Yes,
like
thank you. Thank you. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Wow.
Super cool and not great for him. He was like, I felt like crap, and you know, I couldn't go into the clinic because, you know, he looked awful. But then he said, once he got through that point, he totally detoxed. He's like, I've never felt better. And sometimes those things, they just sit in us and we don't realize that. So what can we do to help the body to push those things out? Because they sit in the tissues. And sometimes they can be hard to get rid of. And we think we're as healthy as can be. So it's a little bit off topic, but it's fascinating because it's the skin. It's like you said, it's sort of that first picture of what's going on. You can look at someone often, you can say, oh, you're healthy, or what can we work on?
Right. Truly.
Yeah.
And that can be your clue when you have like a better relationship with your skin and giving it the love and avoiding the things that aren't going to serve you.
Yeah. So I'm curious because I think I don't really know what to ask when it comes going back to the psychoneuroimmunology. You know, you started talking a little bit about the embryology component of it. I'm curious if there's anything that you want to add to that, since it is sort of your specialty, or was at least originally, regarding what you're doing now, or any part of it, because I think that it's a term that we don't hear much, and you can expand that, right? You've got the psycho, neuro, endo, immunology.
There you go. I like that. You just created a whole new field.
No, I think it's a thing. You bring in the endocrinology piece of it,
for
right?
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, there's so much to it, but I want to make sure that if there's something in that you want to mention, that I give you the space for that, because it's such a cool thing, and I love that you were teaching doctors about that.
Thank you. And I think the key here is just to really sit with the interconnected nature of our systems.
Yes.
And when you're having a thought and not feeling good, taking a moment to peel back the layers to say, okay, what am I doing that could be impacting my nervous system and my immune system that brought me here? And then you can also flip the script, which is, as I was sharing, the 5 sensory experiences that you can do, or exercises to bring you to a mindful moment. A lot of times we have this idea, you know, when you're thinking, okay, how can I change my physiology? Well, I need to think differently. You know, don't feel the pain, push it down. And really what's different is you can stimulate your body to then have a positive impact on your mindset, have a positive impact on your immune system. And that goes back to like, go and have a mindful moment and go really hone in on these 5 senses, and you will feel the difference in your psychology. You will feel the difference in your immune system. And so I think oftentimes we're like, okay, take vitamins to boost our immune system. You know, we're going to go to therapy for our psychology. But then we're not really thinking about the other guy involved, which is the nervous system, and how that nervous system can have a positive impact as well when you start looking at that whole triangle.
Yeah. I love that, and I love when you can bring in intentionality behind it too, just like you're doing for your Sundays. I'm sorry, would you call it your what?
Sanctuary Sunday.
Sanctuary Sunday. That's so good.
That's so good.
You know, when you're using products, whether it's, I say products or food or whatever, and you know, because it's all so beautiful, it's all coming from the same place, right? Our food, you know, it's all coming from the earth, and when we know that it is true nourishment, to take that and to use it as a time of gratitude and a time of sitting back and knowing you're taking care of your body. You know, I love to cook, and sometimes it's just so rushed, when, you know, really cooking should be, it's so foundational, and it's so beautiful, and it's so delicious, right? And taking that and using it for that time of not increasing stress because you're in a hurry, but decreasing and being calm in it. And then same with, you know, if you bathe, and bathing with good healthy products in filtered water, and using the products that you're using. I love that, and it makes me want to be more mindful, even when I'm using it to just wash my face, right? And to just let it sit on the skin and to nourish me, because that's the cool thing. It is nourishment.
It is.
Yeah.
And you bring up something interesting. I'll help people oftentimes with like food recovery, where they have had a difficult time with food and they use it for emotional reasons, or they just don't know when to stop. And one of the secrets that has really shown great results is just getting present and working on being present. And as you were sharing that story about cooking, instead of being in a rush to cook it, prepare it, find it, eat it, when you're just in the moment and like have gratitude and you're present with it, all of a sudden you choose healthier choices. You recognize when you're full already, and you appreciate the process. And we just live in a world where everything just happens so fast, and we're just trying to keep up with the roller coaster.
Oh, it's so true. I want to make sure that we talk about some of the things you're doing with your business, right? So you've got some leadership work and some mission work that you're doing. Talk a little bit about that.
We donate to various organizations. I think one that's been really near and dear to my sister that we would love to be able to do more of is, we've always had this dream about bringing regenerative farming and time-honored traditions forward into cultures where they need economic development to be able to keep up with this world, but really being sensitive to their culture, because they haven't been as westernized. Because oftentimes we come in, we go, and it's really wonderful, we have a positive impact, but then we leave and then it just doesn't stick. And so something that we did is we did a pilot in Afghanistan where we helped women refugees return back to Afghanistan, and we taught them what the native plants were, and then how to grow them, farm them, and harvest them, and produce products that they could then sell at their local farmers market. And the goal there was that, one, by having women be a part of the economic ecosystem, there's data to support that it keeps the family together, and it keeps kids in school, and then also a way to come back. And this pilot, they stuck with it because it was something that was very intuitive. It wasn't like putting a strip mall in a remote location, you know. And so I would love to be able to replicate that and do more of that kind of work that can have a complementary, it's kind of like the Eastern and Western medicine, the yes and, the two together, bring some of that advancement while also preserving their history and their culture.
Does it help you to know more people in regenerative farming?
Always.
Yeah? Okay. I think I have someone I want to introduce you to that might be kind of a cool connection. We'll see. We'll talk about it offline.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? I feel like we kind of hit it all, and we're sitting at our hour point. Is there anything else you want to hit that we didn't get to hit on?
You know, start that shaman exercise.
Yeah.
Get rid of those chemicals. Clean out your first aid cabinets. Simplify your life. And prioritize your presence.
I love that. It's so good. You know, the thing that I hear so often, because money is a big deal, right? And I hear so often people will say, you know, I'll look at the ingredients, whether food or otherwise, and I'll tell them, like, this, you can keep and use it up, or you throw it away, right? So I don't like to be wasteful. I don't want to be wasteful. If it's something that I think is okay, we're like, okay, it's fine. We'll find something better. Or just, you know, it's like canola oil, right? Just throw it away. This is not I'm going to use it up because I spent money on it. But I think that that's a thing that we do often, and I hear it more often with body care products, shampoo, things like that. People are like, I bought it, so I'm going to use it. They don't notice that it's a problem, and I'm like, no, please don't. Just throw it away. You know, and you can start baby steps, throw it away and go buy something else, and throw something else away and go buy something else, right? But, you know, the sooner that stuff goes in the trash, and the sooner we stop buying the trash, the sooner we become a healthier society, and the sooner that each of us individually become healthier. It's so foundational, but we've made it super complicated, you know?
And when you purchase those clean products, you're voting for that to be the change.
Yes.
And just being really empowered that is what shifts the narrative in terms of what is available for everyone and what isn't available.
Yeah, so true. Awesome. And so you can be found, so I had your website pulled up. It is greengoo.com. Super simple.
Simple and sweet.
Tell me the difference in Spry Life and Green Goo.
Spry Life is our company name, and Green Goo is our brand.
Okay.
So we have a couple of brands. We've got Green Goo, which is our first aid and personal care, Southern Butter, which is our sexual wellness intimate line, and then we have Ova Moon, which is our women's health supplements, and then we also have Fan Botanicals, which is the vitamin C serum. So they all sit under Spry Life, and they're all available at greengoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. This has been so fun. I do want to do it again. I think that you have so much goodness to share when it comes to the plants and all of the things that plants can the many ways that plants can benefit us, and doing the right thing, right? We can always talk about, it's plant-based, but is it really what we want it to be? So thank you for all you and your sister are doing. This is so good.
Thank you. Well, thank you for spreading goodness.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep buying your stuff for sure because I'm in love with it. And so I suggested to people, like I said, I gave it away as Christmas presents. So go to greengoo.com. It's so good. Especially, I can't help myself. This rose oil is, it's a vitamin C, but it smells like amazing roses. It's so good. But yeah, we always want to support the entrepreneurs, people who are here of service, doing all the right things and bringing goodness to the world. So check her out. You can always find me at anything or any place that's Taste Life Nutrition, right? TasteLifeNutrition.com. You can go in, you can find a assessment you can fill out. You can find your Precision Wellness Blueprint, which is super fun because it's super targeted in you and what's going on with you, and it's a report, and then we can go deeper, or you can take it and just utilize that. But it's a 30-page report, give or take, based around your body. And it's been a fun thing for me, where I wanted to bring goodness at a much lesser cost than some of these big programs, which are important, but not everybody wants that. So anyway, that's been my goal with the Precision Wellness Blueprint. So check that out. Let me know if there's anything that I can do to be of service to you. And that's all I got. So thanks, everybody. Thank you. Stick with me here for just a second, if you don't mind. But we'll see all of you next week, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, on KUHSdenver.com. See y'all later.